Good morning. Xavier Becerra, Attorney General for the great state of California. I wanted to come for a simple reason. I'm glad our partners in the media and the press are here as well, because I think it's important to try to make sure we're conveying information as accurately and as quickly as we can to all Californians in these days when so many things are swirling in the air. And I know that many people have read the reports of these rumors of intensified immigration enforcement activity, perhaps in Northern California. There's no clear word. I just wanted to make sure that we all understood where we stand here in California on those matters. So I do thank, again, the good people of the press for taking the time to be here to hopefully communicate a message to the 40 million Californians. As the Attorney General and our state's Chief Law Enforcement Officer, I take this very seriously, and I want to make sure that people understand what their rights and their responsibilities are under the law. Whether you are law enforcement, whether you are an employer, whether you are an employee, or whether you are just a resident of our state, and certainly if you are a federal official working under federal jurisdiction, in this case immigration, all of us should know our rights and know our responsibilities when it comes to interacting with the people of the state of California. I can't tell you what are rumors and I can't tell you what are facts, and so I'm going to deal mostly in facts. And I can simply tell you that if we are approached by federal immigration enforcement officials, the facts on the ground are as follows. Immigration enforcement must be done according to federal law and certainly according to the U.S. Constitution. Local law enforcement, we always respect federal law and the U.S. Constitution, and we abide by state law as well. We would hope that just as California respects the Constitution and our laws, that our partners in the federal government would do the same. It's important for me to mention that in 2018 there are some new laws in the state of California that have a role to play in how we go about our business, including when it involves federal immigration enforcement. California has two statutes in place as a result of the passage of Senate Bill 54 and Assembly Bill 450, which I think are relevant for this conversation and the facts. Under these two measures, which the Department of Justice is still reviewing, and we will be preparing to issue guidance on the implementation of these two measures, working closely with the Labor Commissioner's Office as well with regard to AB 450 in particular, and working closely with law enforcement throughout the state of California for SB 54. We hope to be able to give a clear picture of what these laws now mean for us as residents of our great state of California. But the key to these new state laws is that they are a further effort to provide all our people with the protection of our rights and our privacy. And so regardless of what anyone may hear with regard to rumors, I think, if nothing else, I hope the people of the state, whether you are a resident, an employee, an employer, a public official, or the federal government, that you understand what our state laws are. And our state laws essentially say that we want to protect people's rights to privacy. And we want to protect their ability to go about their business of going to work, feeding their kids. We don't expect that in the execution of federal immigration enforcement that our partners at the federal government will violate the Constitution or federal law, and they'll respect how we in California go about the business of enforcing public safety laws and protecting people's privacy. We expect our partners in the federal government to do their job and federal immigration enforcement smartly, and we expect that they'll do it by abiding by the U.S. Constitution. With regard to SB 54, I think our law enforcement agencies throughout the state are working on make sure we can implement SB 54 in the proper manner, and we can get details to you later on that. And I want to mention AB 450 in particular here because a lot of folks in the state may not be aware of this new law. And this new law, in an effort to protect people's privacy, makes sure that no one, but more specifically employers, voluntarily give up individuals, and in this case employees' rights to privacy. And so AB 450 tries to make sure that as an employer, you are not sharing information that is not readily available to the public with anyone about your employees. And if you do so in violation of this new law, you are subjecting yourself to fines up to $10,000 for violations of this new law. And so I think it's important that I specifically address our employers, our businesses, as they go about their work, and as the federal immigration authorities try to go about their work, to make sure it's clear what you can and cannot do in respecting the rights and protections of the people of California in trying to respond to federal immigration enforcement authorities. Please be sure you're aware of this law. Talk to your attorneys, read the law, but once again, as I said, employers now have new obligations to ensure that they are not disclosing information about their employees in ways that would violate the new law created by AB 450. And so I don't mean to give a great amount of detail today because we're in the process, as I mentioned, in the Department of Justice and working as well with the Labor Commissioner's Office to come up with direct guidance on some of these new laws. But I think it's important, given these rumors that are out there, to let people know, and more specifically today, employers know, that if they voluntarily start giving up information about their employees or access to their employees in ways that contradict our new California laws, they subject themselves to actions by my office or local prosecutors in enforcing AB 450. And so I'll stop there. I suspect there are maybe some questions. I'll try to give as much detail as I can where possible. But what's important is to convey a message that regardless of what the rumors are, the law is the law, the Constitution is the Constitution, and people have rights. And individuals should not believe that they're absent of rights, even if they're immigrants, simply because the rumors are swirling that some enforcement action may be imminent. With that, let me take any questions. Sí, let me tell you real quickly in Spanish, because obviously this is important in a lot of communities that are limited, aren't proficient in English. El mensaje de hoy es muy simple. Es entendiendo los derechos y las obligaciones que tenemos aquí en California bajo las leyes de California en cuanto a cómo conducimos nuestros negocios. Sabemos bien que el gobierno federal tiene el deber de poner en vigor las leyes de inmigración y tomar acción en cuanto a las leyes de inmigración. Eso respetamos. Al mismo tiempo, el gobierno federal tiene la obligación de obedecer la ley federal y la Constitución en tratar de poner en vigor el trabajo de las leyes de inmigración. En California, tratamos de proteger los intereses de privacidad de los que viven aquí. Eso incluye los que trabajan aquí. Y por eso, bajo una nueva ley, uno que es empleador, quien tiene personas que trabajan para ese negocio, ese comerciante tiene obligaciones hacia sus trabajadores de no violar la privacidad de esos empleados en maneras que California dice que no es permitido. Y sin tratar de complicar el asunto, solo quiero hoy mandarle un mensaje a los que viven aquí en California, especialmente si son personas que emplean a otros. Por favor, entienden esa nueva ley que pasó bajo una medida llamada AB 450, AB 450, que requiere que uno como empleador no brinda información sobre un empleado sin hacerlo bajo las leyes de California. Y eso es importante para el empleado y para los que emplean a esas personas. Y claro, en este sentido, cuando hablamos de inmigración, estamos hablando en muchos casos de inmigrantes que trabajan, están empleados por varios negocios y que esos negocios tienen obligaciones de proteger los intereses y la privacidad de esos empleados, incluyendo los que son inmigrantes. Take any questions.